So, second demo will be about inking. If you are rendering this in markers versus drawing this in pencil, I have these Pilot pens. You can buy these at a Office Max or Staples, I believe, but I got these at Dick Blick's. And they're also available at Michael's, I believe. Another brand is actually same brand, different look, just an older model, you might say, is again Pilot. I like these because they're water soluble. Why do I like that? Well, because the tone markers are permanent. Let these dry for 3-4 minutes. You can put the marker right over the top. And I'll just give you an example here. So here's the quality line. If I put that tone down and then take a marker, hopefully this will work. And you can see, there we go. They'll blur a little bit because they haven't totally dried, but I can actually marker tone right over these. Once they're totally dry, that will not smear at all. Very nice, because you can do what I'm about to do next, which is to ink all the dark shapes. Now, you don't have to do it this way. There's always variations on how you can do things, but you could, for example, you could use the fine tip of your 90% marker to do the same thing, and I'm actually going to bring that out and use it as well, but here's where that ship's curve comes in really handy. You can see I'm running my pen right along here. For those of you who have not drawn or inked this way, it might feel a little weird. For those of you who have, you know what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to be able to switch to a little bit of freehanding here. I'm going to close some shapes. If you look at my reference here, these black lines don't continue all the way, they break. It's very typical of metallic shapes. Reflections pick up and then drop away. That's why I don't ink them in a heavy line. Because what I'm after is just an indication of the darkest tones on the object. So right here, I'm going to block that in. And I could fill all these shapes like that, but that's not actually necessary. And it takes a little more time. So what I actually prefer to do is go to one of my dark markers. And a 90 would be okay, but so is an 80. Fine tip. I just carefully fill the tone. That way you're not spending a lot of time filling with a tiny tip on the fine tip mark and the fine tip. But you notice I have these really clean edges. And like I was saying, cool thing about this approach, putting in all your darkest tones first, is you get to see the reflections on your faucet before you even have put any tone in. So I have this shape here, and you can see I'm just defining that out, putting a little curve at the ends. I do see a little bit didn't pass of that shape right there. I'm going to put that there. I could outline. Let's do that, but not all the way. I made a decision there. So I stopped it right here, so I'm not just going to outline here, because if you look at this closely, you can see I have no heavy line here, so I'm not going to do that. That means I'm going to pick up where I do see the line pick up again, right there. And interestingly, it doesn't carry all the way across this segment. So I'm just going to follow my reference. Like I say, great reference, great to have reference, because it tells you what reality is, what the reflections are really doing. And I could make all this up and do a good job, but I always love to have the reference there to react off to. Sometimes many different pieces of reference, different faucets for different reasons, because I'm looking at great reflections on one, great tones on another. Now here I have a choice. This is not a filled shape. There's open tone in here. So what I'm going to do is that. And I might just indicate a little bit of a shape and leave it at that for now. So don't overdo it. Just kind of do only what you think you can see as a 90% or darker tone here. Now down at the bottom, again, I could be tempted to just put a line all the way across, but I'm not. I'm going to bring it in from both sides and stop it. Same here. Here I actually do kind of see a line all the way across, but then it gets a little heavier in places. I do see a line on this side. When I say line, I see an actual 90% tone. That. And right here, wherever I have a straight line, I got another one here. When it curves like this, I can freehand it, so I really switch back and forth. I'm going to complete this shape. Here it's a bit more of a judgment call. Just a bit of a shape there. Again, a judgment call. There's nothing in here, so I'm not going to put a line there. If I start to block everything in with a line, it starts looking like a cartoon. And that's really what we're trying to avoid. So yes, you can outline in some places when you do your first actual chrome texture for the next assignment. But be careful and observant of your reference. Don't outline a shape where you don't see one. Here I am filling, and I can finish this off with my marker, and I'm just going to go through last steps here. And I'm going to be daring and just freehand some of the rest of this, just to speed things up. So this line is just an incomplete shape. It's really not supposed to be the entire render. But if I was inking this and not putting any tone on it, I would be more aggressive with my line. I'd probably have some thin lines. But right about there is where I would stop, and the next step will be tone.